Welcome to the MTG Sold podcast. This is the weekly report for May 18th to the 24th, 2026. In the weekly market pulse, TCGPlayer sealed moved 5,123 units across 4,138 orders this week for a grand total of 713,226 in total revenue, down 7.6% in units and 2.2% in revenue from last week's 5,542 units and $7,229,624 in total revenue. Fewer units but a smaller revenue dip means average transaction value climbed and buyers leaned into higher ticket products. Secrets of Strixhaven claimed 3 of the top 6 revenue slots. The Collector Booster Display led at $80,522, followed by the Codex Bundle at $71,635. Marvel Superheroes Collector Booster Display held third at $66,915 on 142 units. The week's highest per unit price belongs to Final Fantasy Collector Booster Display at a volume-weighted average price of $1,154.97 on just 30 units. It's continuing to trade at a steep premium. Daily volume tapered from a 998 unit Monday down to 795 units on Saturday. Jumping into the velocity and supply read-through for the week, the TCGPlayer supply picture this week is dominated by Secrets of Strixhaven distribution hitting full stride. Multiple Strixhaven products saw significant inventory and seller count growth, with the Codex Bundle's average quantity more than quadrupling and the bundle's seller count nearly doubling. For products that absorbed the new supply well, prices held or gained. For those that didn't, prices eroded. Marvel Superheroes Collector Booster Display is the tightest product in the cohort, with a sell-through ratio above 1.0, meaning demand outstripped new supply. On the other hand, Edge of Eternity's commander decks are showing flat to growing supply with weakening demand, suggesting that the post-launch premium has faded and these products are settling into a more competitive price range. Marvel Superheroes Collector Booster Displays posted a sell-through ratio of 1.1563, with an average quantity of 122.8 on TCGPlayer, meaning more units sold than new listings appeared, indicating net inventory drawdown. Bloom Barrel Commander Deck Peace Offering ran sell-through ratio of 0.86 on a smaller base, and the Duskmourn Commander Deck Endless Punishment showed contracting supply, average quantity down 9.2% and sellers down 13%, with a sell-through ratio of 0.59. Secrets of Strixhaven Codex Bundle saw average quantity climb from 175.6 to 739.4. That's an increase of 321%, with sellers increasing from 33.4 up to 134.6, and that's an increase of 303%. On TCGPlayer, that is a major restock wave. Secrets of Strixhaven Bundle grew an average quantity of 137 to 201. That's a 46% increase, with sellers nearly doubling. The Lauren Eclipse Commander Deck Dance of the Elements carries 377 average listings, with a sell-through ratio of just 0.16, one of the deepest and slowest moving supply pools in the cohort. The Pacific Northwest continues to dominate the TCGPlayer sealed supply, with Washington at 15%, Idaho at 12%, and Oregon at 6.9%, combining for 34.9% of all listed quantity. Seattle alone accounts for 13,759 units, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho contributes for 8,106 units. Together, those two cities hold more inventory than any individual state outside the top 3. New York, 7.5%, and California, 6.9%, round out the traditional hubs. Canadian sellers maintain presence through Quebec, 3.6%, largely through Quebec City at 3,275 units, and Ontario, 0.8%. Coverage sits at 100% across 466 located sellers. Jumping into our opinionated takeaway segment, the Codex Bundle absorbed a supply tsunami. The Codex Bundle soaked up a quadrupling of listed supply and still gained 50% on volume-weighted average price. When distribution channels flood a product and the price goes up, it usually means genuine demand was bottlenecked by availability. The 0.73 sell-through on 739 average listings confirms buyers were waiting. I'd expect the price to stabilize or pull back slightly now that the supply axis is normalized, but the demand floor looks solid. Edge of Eternity Commander decks are finding their floor. 2 Edge of Eternity Commander decks leading the decliner board with double-digit drops while supply stays flat. This suggests that the post-launch premium is washing out. Counterintelligence is at $29.25, and World Shaper is at $37.46. They're approaching a range where casual buyers start picking them up. I wouldn't chase the decline. These look closer to a floor than the start of a sustained slide. Marvel Superheroes Collector Booster Display is drawing down. Sell-through ratio is above 1.0 with only 122.8 average listings, means this product is depleting faster than it restocks. At a volume-weighted average price of $471.24, it's not cheap, but the supply dynamic is the most bullish in the cohort right now. If sell-through stays above 1.0 for another week or two, expect the price to move upward. A softer week, not a troubled one. At 7.6% drop in units and a 2.2% drop in revenue is noticeable, but not alarming. Last week likely benefited from the Strixhaven launch energy that naturally cools. Average transaction value actually increased, suggesting that the buyer base is healthy but shopping more selectively. With TCGPlayer's Mayhem sale coming up this Friday, we're sure to see another pop in the metrics. Nothing in this week's data signals a demand-side problem across the broader sealed market. And for our last segment, what to watch next week. The secret to Strixhaven Codex bundle supply absorption, the restock wave pushed an average quantity past 739. If sell-through holds above a 0.70 ratio and price stays above 130 next week, the demand base is confirmed. If sell-through drops below 0.50 with all that supply sitting there, expect the price to come in. The Marvel Superheroes Collector Booster Display inventory sell-through above 1.0 is unsustainable unless new supply arrives. Watch whether average quantity drops below 100. That would signal accelerating scarcity and likely a price adjustment upward. And lastly, the Edge of Eternity's Commander deck pricing. World Shaper and the Counterintelligence deck are down 15% and 14% respectively. If they stabilize near current levels next week, they're finding a floor. Another 10% plus drop would suggest a longer-term value decline for this set's Commander products. Thanks for listening. This is the weekly report of May 18th to the 24th. You're listening to the MTG Sold podcast. Thank you.